Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you're having a great day. So, today we want to talk about what seems to be the confirmed launch date of the Pi network. That is Q4 2021. That seems to be most of the period that most are pointing to. And so, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But before we segue over into the Pi Network segment, we're going to discuss a very similar project to Pi Network, the Bitcoin MYK project that is launched and that is functioning, and people are starting to use the site. It is already trading over on the Hive Engine Exchange. And as you can see, it is pretty much comprised to, uh, to work like your average social network, and of course, the idea being an understanding of network building, brand effect building, reaching a large amount of users, having the interface that is user friendly for the end user, to in which they find the transition in the cryptocurrency a lot easier. So uh, I think the Bitcoin MYK project speaks a lot to onboarding, on ramping new users, similar to what the Pi network has done. And we're going to discuss a little bit of the similarities today and the understanding of the idea of never buy cryptocurrency, use the POP model. When we discuss the POP model, that is what the Bitcoin MYK project runs on, the proof of participation model. And what does that mean exactly? The proof of participation model. Well, unlike many cryptocurrencies that are hoping that you will purchase them, that right, they want you to take a chance on them and invest in them before, in some cases, you can even use the product. Before, in some cases, the project is showing any sustainability or network effect. With proof of participation model, all that is required is that you participate in the network and you mint tokens through the participation. We'll demonstrate what that looks like today. What you're looking at now is just standard social media functions. That's going to be a lot easier to your average end user. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look here at our leaderboard. And in looking at our leaderboard, I'm going to try to determine what's going on with some of the projects, or what's happening with some of the users, how they're earning and minting the Bitcoin MYK token, so you can get a better understanding how the proof of participation model works. So we're looking here at some of the people who are leading in the gaining the most cryptocurrencies here for the week. I'm just going to let's click on Brins DC here. I'm going to click there. Okay, and much like other social media sites, they have a profile page, they have a user page, and there are chat rooms, instant messengers, like what you get with your standards Facebook site, social media site. So all those things are going on. But I want to show you something here a little bit more unique, just how you're earning your cryptocurrency. So on his profile page, I want to look at his history section, and let's get you over there. Okay, here in his history section, just going to demonstrate a little bit how the proof of participation model works. Why we think it's a great idea for you all to use it. So first, you'll see that he earned one of the Bitcoin MYK tokens for viewing the page, and then he earned a Bitcoin MYK token for becoming a friend or accepting a friendship. He earned another one for his content being liked. So there is a curation process where people can like your content, and you earn the cryptocurrency when you get likes. He minted Bitcoin MYK token when for viewing other members' pages and other areas of the site. Um, he gets his, what we term to think of, you can think of it as a daily dividend, or what we like to use the idea universal basic income. Every day you log in, you also mint a cryptocurrency, right? And for registration and being a member. He got 10 when he registered. Now, there are several other ways you can earn. You can earn for uploading photos as well. There are games and other offers you can participate on. So there are many, many ways to earn. What you have to understand about the proof of participation model is the entire system is basically built around not purchasing cryptocurrency. Now, I know that's a very foreign concept to many of us. It takes resources to run cryptocurrency. Their blockchains require money to be run and built. It's kind of hard for us to go back to like the early days of Bitcoin, where you had a lot of developers and people running nodes, and where they weren't really being paid because there wasn't a market for these cryptocurrencies really at that time to really have significant value. Kind of putting us in a place of like where we're at with the Pi network and so on and so forth. The belief that down the road there's going to be significant value in these projects, and so it's worth it to run them now. So that's generally how it works. And I think many people are going to find this a lot more user friendly and easy to use, right? So it's very easy to register and join the network. It's not all those complicated situations like with many cryptocurrencies. Uh, Generally, what happens in cryptocurrency is when you have a very easy user interface like this, and you have a very less complex way of getting people to join, uh, usually there is a trade-off with security. Now, after looking at several governance models, the Bitcoin NYK project, the proof participation model, uses what is deemed more as a very democratic process, where that we use a basically an adjudication service, which is basically like a court, where groups form, and these groups are all formed by the community. There is no influence over it, like through money or something like that, but it's just the groups and the people who join the groups. And these groups receive votes and are able to vote out accounts that are at risk for our networks for any reason that they deem to be that. That's just the governance model, right? And we believe ultimately that will lead to a much more democratic process and a much more secure way to protect the network. If for any reason the community decides that it is just a bad idea to have a certain member of in the community, whether they found a way to game the system or they found a way to earn too much of the cryptocurrency, whatever that comes to, everybody will be able to gain uh, representation through either these groups or being free to create their own groups. And after looking at several systems, where they're lottery-based systems, where they're proof-of-stake systems, where they're proof-of-work systems, where they all have their trade-offs and issues, we found that the proof participation model to us fits with a variety of those models, and hopefully the good outcome of it more so outweighs the bad. So that's the direction we're following with it. So we hope you joined today. The cryptocurrency does have value. It does trade on the Hive Engine exchange. Right now, it looks to be a little bit. It's kind of interesting because the price of it kind of is reminiscent of where Dogecoin was back in the early days, and Dogecoin remained stable at those prices for quite a bit of time. And it's interesting to see the Bitcoin NYK pattern somewhat follow that, because Bitcoin NYK does seem to stay in those price ranges, right? When a lot of things are going crazy right now, it does seem to move at a very in a certain area there. Um, and you can go over to the Hive Engine Exchange, and you're able to, basically trade this cryptocurrency for money. So it is real, unlike the Pi Network right now. Now, Pi Network, we believe, and we're going to discuss that in this upcoming segment here real soon. And we'll talk about some of the pros and cons of what we can look for. But again, the trade-off with the Bitcoin NYK project is more about onboarding, getting a large amount of users, similar to what the Pi Network is doing, but to escape many of the hurdles and issues that people have with onboarding the cryptocurrency. There is a much more lax, low KYC registration process. This is very low KYC. You're talking about providing email addresses and names and things like that. No VPNs are allowed at this point in time because we are trying to, of course, with a project like this, you don't want people gaming the system. But ultimately, the security layer of the Bitcoin NYK project will end up being the governance model, right? That's the groups coming in, deciding who's good for the network and who's not good for the network, and doesn't really have anything to do with so much of what's right and what's wrong in this system. Again, when we look at all these various systems, every system has a negative to it. If you look at proof of stake, a lot of us are set back by a person with enough money can just come in and buy the network. A lot of people don't feel that that's right. Proof of work, well, you gotta know how to mine. Right now, mining has become only valuable to big corporate models, right? Large mining data centers. So you're basically, it's not a very participatory system for the average person. Delegated proof of stake is kind of relatable again to proof of stake. Again, it's about money control. And so this is something going to be a lot different and interesting to see what becomes of this. So it's going to be interesting. People are going to be able to appeal their situations to hopefully a new group, a new jury in the future that will be able to community group members who can look at the information provided, and we'll discuss exactly how that governance model works again in the future. But they'll be able to look at that and make a determination on if these people should be able to appeal and come back and so on and so forth. So a lot to unpack there, but you could join the Bitcoin NYK project today, absolutely free. So much great things to this project. But let's now move on to what's happening with the Pi Network and about this Q4 launch date. All right, over here looking at the Pi Network Reddit, and many of us have been trying to determine. Okay, looks like I had to log in to be able to see the site, but yeah, many of the community's been trying to determine this this launch date. All right, yeah, that's what my problem was. Excuse me. Okay, so I think I got through my technical difficulties now. But in looking for information when the announcement would come, when is this date going to be? Many are convinced it's going to be in Q4 of 2021, right? And that's just not from the Reddit here. That's various sources online here that we found. Even what I believe to be, I wasn't able to view it, but I believe there was a AMA on Twitter where the Pi Network did discuss that Q4 was more than likely going to be the launch date. Now, where there is a little confusion for me is my impression was that when they reached 100 million users is when the launch would happen. Now, I don't believe that they're going to be at 100 million users, which would be now less than 6 months to go from 18 million users to 100 million users. Not impossible, but highly unlikely at the rate they're moving. I think they're doing a great job, but I don't think that's going to happen. So the only place I have a little confusion with the date is, does that mean then that they're gonna be willing to launch prior to 100 million users? Now, of course, that's very possible, even with the amount of users they have now, it makes them one of the biggest, would make them one of the biggest trading cryptocurrencies out there. And so, with the market effect they've managed to gain so far, probably would be a good idea to go ahead and launch. You don't want this thing to be 4 or 5 years down the road, people cooling their jets. You know what I mean? And so, we've seen that kind of happen with projects, and sometimes they haven't worked out very well like that. And in some cases, they had a rocky start, but they did. So we want to be mindful of all those things. But I think we also have to include that even in just launching, you still have several more steps to go. Next, you have getting listed on exchange, right? What's going to be the process of that? And then, in order to be listed on major exchanges, a lot of people aren't familiar with this, but you generally need some legal counsel and some legal representation to write certain letters and documents to the exchange. Now, I don't think this is going to be a problem for the Pi Network at all, but I do think that it's going to be a process, right? We've heard many of the horror stories with Binance, so this isn't going to be just a boom bang instant type situation for the Pi Network. I do think it's going to be a process. I could see this thing maybe launching in December and getting listed on some exchanges, and perhaps early 2022. It's going to probably take some time, but uh, that is quite possible from all the information and the various sources we're getting information. As this thing is probably pretty much a go around that time frame. My belief is that they're gonna, if they can get their technology together running, my belief is that they're going to go ahead and launch before 100 million users, because those numbers are very questionable at best, that there are even that many people in cryptocurrency that are actual users. So I think that we may have, they may make that decision to do that prior to that. Now, the other issue with all of this, of course, is going to be, I know a lot of people are ready for it to hit exchange. They want to see what the value of it's going to be. But getting these cryptocurrencies to the users of the application, so on and so forth, there are going to be a little bit more complexity with that as well. And what I mean by that is that what it seems to be is that there will be a follow through on the people who are using the applications now. These tokens that we're earning that kind of fall under the network isn't real right now. It's not the main net, so the tokens don't have any value. That they're fake, they're dummy tokens, but it seems to be coming from various sources in the team. It would seem that it's likely that those tokens will have the same use of an actual Pi token on the mainnet, or a cryptocurrency on the mainnet. I'm sorry, coin. Uh, so the coin will have the actual value of a Pi coin on the mainnet, and so it's not going to be like what you're doing now is a waste of time, and that makes sense to me. I don't think it'd be a good move to the people who've helped to build a network. They've been making gaining value, making money off the advertising network, and so on and so forth, right? So that's all going to be great. Here's what the problem is going to be, and this is a huge problem I've seen really slow down many of these projects. One big issue. So once we reach all these hurdles, the last leg of the process is just going to be the verification process. So of course, when there is the ability to create free accounts, the ability to mine the cryptocurrency, in this case, essentially free. You don't have to have any equipment. You just kind of download the app and so on and so forth. Well, there's going to have to be a verification process, not only for like new KYC rules, AML laws, right? Of course, we're talking about anti-money laundering laws, talking about know your customer rules. A lot of these things have to be in line with getting listed on exchanges, and just making sure that you're within the realm of securities laws, right? So all that has to happen. There's going to have to be an identification process, and I think this is the 800-pound gorilla in the room with the project. So we don't know as of yet how bad they're going to be, but from looking at past models and seeing that things have gotten worse, not better. Past models, some of them have been pretty bad, and so a lot of times it could require driver's license uploads, could require identification. Many of what some of the more large exchanges go through right now, and so for a lot of people, that's going to be either a very uncomfortable zone situation, or they're not going to want to do it and participate. And then to some in the community, it's still pretty much anti cryptocurrency, because here it is, you're giving over all this information to essentially one entity, and right, oftentimes that's frowned upon. So that has to be met as well. So you're not going to just be able to claim the cryptocurrency. You got to go through that process as well. And, of course, that's necessary for security reasons as well. You don't, when you're giving out this much cryptocurrency for free, people are going to find a way to game the system. I don't think we found a perfect system yet to deal with this. And so that's going to certainly affect the value of it if you got all these fraudsters, scammers find a way to get it and dumping it on the open market. But I think with the Bitcoin NYK project, I think it's set up to deal with this. And I know a lot of people are very excited about the Pi network. I am too. I think it's a great project. But I do think that, there are projects that I think are more equipped to deal with certain issues and areas of the cryptocurrency space. And I think Bitcoin NYK is one of them, as we mentioned earlier, with the trade-off being pulling away a lot from the security measures and looking more so at the governance models, the community, a more fully democratic system where the members of the community with the most representation through groups, where anybody can create their groups. There is no high mental aptitude necessary, no equipment necessary, no money, large amounts of stake necessary to do this. And their voices throughout the security process we have and through the governance model, the community is able to decide percentage wise what is good for the community and what is not. And it doesn't really have anything to do with ideas and metrics of what is right or what is wrong or what is fair. As we underlined earlier, those processes have their own drawbacks, right? But in this is more just a democratic model of, do you think this is good for the community? Is this optimal for the system? Is this efficient for the system? And in that sense, we kind of avoid that. But there is a trade-off. There's always going to be a trade-off. As we said, with proof of stake, the trade-off is going to be money. If you try to give away cryptocurrencies free, it's going to be ID verification and a lot of your privacy at stake. If you try to do a proof of work algo, it's going to be a centralization rather, or smaller pool of miners and mining pools and so on and so forth. So it is a very complicated problem to figure out. And I think at the end of the day, we have to just decide which is going to work best for us as individuals, and maybe together collectively we solve the problem. But this is what we got happening with the Pi network. Excited to see what happens with it. In the meantime, many of you still haven't tried the Bitcoin NYK project. It is a free cryptocurrency with very little conditions on you. So should give it a try. Use the social network. See if you like it. Give yourself a couple of days with it. Seriously using it. Give yourself a couple of days with it. See if you like it. At worst, it's gonna cost you a little bit of your time. You're gonna leave with some cryptocurrency you can cash out, and and that's about the best can be expected of that. Again, the model is built on more of using it than buying it. Right? We on purpose we tried to design a cryptocurrency model where people didn't the first inclination is not about buying it and coming in, but being able to build up a network of value and receive this cryptocurrency and start to see it as a monetary system, as a money that you can transfer easily to yourself and friends around the world, and in that manner. So I think you guys are going to really like that. I think it will keep you occupied, whereas to the Pi network gets verification, gets on exchanges, and this is something we could do in the meantime. See if we like it. If you like it after that point, you might want to use it in the future. But I'm going to leave links in the description so you can try it out. There is also a referral program that we'll be discussing in upcoming videos, how you can earn this thing, just referring it to your friends and so on and so forth. But that's all I want to say in this video. If you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe. And until next time, as always, take care.